All right. Gary Russell Jr. It's the hardest dude in boxing. That's my guy, Gary Russell Jr. That's my guy. That's my guy. 100% Gary Russell Jr. That's my guy. He making these dudes look bad, man. 100% Gary Russell. All right, so y'all can hear me. Gary Russell Jr. Ooh, he making y'all look bad, man. He's making y'all look real, real bad. That's what we're going to talk about today. We also going to talk about Terence Crawford and Bud. Terence Crawford and Brook almost being done. And Deontay Wilder's silence and what that means for Tyson Fury. That will be the discussion today. And I will be trying my best to stay on topic. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right, so we got 10 people watching, 14 likes. What's good? Hit the like button. We'll wait for people to come in. Obviously, people still going. Player made for life. What's going on, man? Thank you so much in that super chat. He says, salute to the Don and the LDBC, not letting up on WAP. Crawford. That, for people who do not know, stands for wet ass pussy. WAP Crawford. Bud couldn't be a bigger disappointment to his real American fan base at this point. That is a serious statement, and I think you're about right. I don't know what I would prefer for me to have a fighter that I really like that gets knocked out, or a fighter that I really like that turns around looking like he don't want to fight nobody. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I might take my fighter getting knocked out. Think I might. Because I can't support that, man. Southern T Boxing, what it do with you? Everything's good here, man. I can't complain about a thing. Sitting up here on Friday, chilling, about to sit there and talk to good people about some good boxing. Talk about this Gary Russell Jr. I can't wait to talk about Gary Russell Jr. I can't wait till people get in the chat so we can talk about Gary Russell Jr. Because what Gary Russell Jr. is saying is true. He might be the hardest dude in boxing. He might just be the hardest dude in boxing. Thunderous Gotti, what's going on, man? I'm chilling, just waiting for people to get into the chat. I know there's some other shows on right now that'll be winding down, or people will just, flow in. They'll flow in at a steady pace. It's a very busy morning of YouTube live streams that have already started before I start. So we just going to slow down and let people get in here a little bit, because as they always do. American Patriot 1776 said, how things in Austin, great up here in Dallas. Oh man, loving Austin, except for it's like really it almost doesn't matter where I am in the world right now, because I'd never leave my house. I'm just here. You know what I mean? I'm just here. Oh man, love Austin, love the good weather. It's really great weather, good people. It's urban. It's not like rural Texas. Not saying that there's anything wrong with rural Texas, but, rural anything always got its, got its struggles. So love the city of Austin. Very, very, very progressive and developing city. Very new. Has a very new feel to it. Southern T Boxing. Gary Russell Jr., a real throwback fighter. Got a lot of that Roy Jones, anybody, anywhere in him. Yeah. Yes. 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 What do I think about Bivol versus Brown? I think that I would probably favor. I got to see Marcus Brown in a fight with somebody else, but I would still might take Marcus Brown over Bivol. I think I might take Marcus Brown over Bivol, provided Marcus Brown fixes getting hit with straight right hands or overhand, like loopy overhand right hands, like what he got hit with John Pascal. But he got hit multiple times with it. So it was like, man, come on, man. That's the same shot a bunch of times. You got to come on. So maybe at this point in time, I could give the advantage to Bivol. But previously, I was like, I think Marcus Brown's probably more talented. Bivol might have a little bit more power. But I can't say that I'm much of an expert on Dimitri Bivol. I've seen him fight a few times, but I've never really, he just seems like a straight up and down fighter to me. You know what I mean? But yeah, Gary Russell Jr. is definitely, without a doubt, a throwback fighter. Very, 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 man, very impressive with Gary Russell Jr. right now. Because you have guys all over boxing that don't really want to fight people. And they want to be very particular about who they fight. And they say they only want people with belts. And people can't be asking, can't want too much money and things like that. You know what I mean? It's a lot of that talk going on, man. A lot of that talk going on. But Gary Russell Jr. to say, hey, Terence Crawford, you lowballed. Terence Crawford, you lowballed. Kell Brook, and you gave him $1.5 million. You offered him $1.5 million. So let me tell you what I'll do. I'll take that $1.5 million. You ain't got to go back into negotiations with Kell Brook. I'll take it. Fight me at 147 for your voluntary, Terence Crawford. Me, little Gary Russell. And I'll take the 1.5. And Terence Crawford tried to laugh it off. Tried to, act like Gary Russell Jr. is just because he's too small, he doesn't deserve a shot. Because that's the only thing. That's the only reason anybody would say Gary Russell Jr. doesn't deserve a shot. It's because he's too small. Other than that, dude, Gary Russell Jr. is having an excellent career. Excellent career. So, but then when Terence Crawford turns that down, man, come on. Then Devin Haney says, hey, I got $1.5 million for you. The WBC lightweight champion says, I got $1.5 million for you. And Gary, I thought Gary was going to be like, nah, because why would Gary take 1.5 from Devin Haney, right? Because that is a lightweight championship. But Gary Russell can already make that fight defending his titles at 126. And if he beats Devin Haney, it's going to look good for Devin Haney. But if he loses, the only thing that's going to happen is Devin Haney. If he beats Devin Haney, they're just going to say Devin Haney's not very good. But if Devin Haney if Devin Haney loses, they're going to, that's how that's going to go. What's going on, Ron Williams? What's going on? Thunderous God. He said, Fannon, there's something special about Bivol that is hard to spot. I think he's much better than people think. Well, we'll see it play out. Hopefully he'll get a chance to fight Arthur Beterbiev. Hopefully we'll get a chance to see him fight Beterbiev. And that'd be great. We'll get to see. I thought Wojciech was a good fighter. Wojciech got his ass knocked out. So, I think most of the reasons people aren't too focused on Bivol is because, number one, it's you just had people are really focused on Beterbiev. Beterbiev and Canelo Beterbiev. Beterbiev's not going to fight him. I mean, Canelo's not going to fight him. Yeah, Beterbiev is a beast, man. No doubt about it. Hey, man, look, we got 79 people in the building. Hit the likes, man. We can at least have 79 people in the chat, dog. We can definitely have 79 people, 79 likes in the chat. So please, stomp upon that like button. Anyway, man, I want to get to Gary Russell Jr. We can talk about it. I'll make a note that we can get to Beterbiev and all that 175 stuff. All right. I got a note right there. Talk about 175 stuff. Wouldn't that be the same thing versus Crawford? Oh, I don't know where that came from, man. I can't answer that question because I don't know the context. But so anyway, now Devin Haney says, I got 1.5 million for you. And Gary Russell Jr. says, give me 2. Dog, if you can find 1.5, you can find 2. You better take that fight, man. You better try to make that. Now you got to try to make the fight. Now you got to try to make the fight. And people can't say that Gary Russell Jr. You can't say that Gary Russell Jr. was like not serious. Because Gary Russell Jr. said he wanted to move to 135 6 months ago. He said if he can't get a fight at 126 between himself and like Josh Warrington or Shakur Stevenson or Leo Santa Cruz, he really said Leo Santa Cruz, actually. That's the guy I meant. It's like if he can't get Leo Santa Cruz in the ring, he'll move to 135. He said he'll jump 130, go straight to 135. So $2 million for a shot at the WBC. That's for a voluntary shot at the WBC title. Oh yeah. And that's got to be as good a fight as Yuriorkis Gamboa. That's as good a fight as Yuriorkis Gamboa. Because Yuriorkis Gamboa has already got beat by everybody. Gary Russell Jr. moving to lightweight. Come on, man. He can move up 2 weight classes. Now, if everybody wants to say, oh, you can't move up to 147, you can't say you can't move up to 135, man. Okay? That would be ridiculous. Okay? Because people go from 126 to 135 all the time. So if he said $2 million for a shot at the WBC, little Gary Russell Jr. is a genius. Little Gary Russell played his cards right. He played that situation right. But wow, that was nice. Nicely played, Gary. Nicely played. I'm impressed. By saying 200,000, I mean, for 2 million, you got to fight. Now he gets a shot at the lightweight title. Nothing to lose against a guy that, in a weight class that's more reasonable, where the size is more reasonable for him. Man, excellent job, Gary Russell Jr., in negotiating yourself into a nice situation. However, I must say that I do believe that he's going to fight, I believe. Hey, man, look, we got 100 people in the building, man. Let's get the likes up to 100. Hit the like buttons, man. Hit the likey button. Yeah, man, that's a smart move by Gary Russell Jr. Yeah, Southern T Boxing, $2 million is a very, very reasonable price. It's a very reasonable price, especially because he's making 1.5, and as long as he gets a cut, now Gary's gonna want some of the back end and some of that stuff to make it a little more sweet. But man, come on, man, that's a good thing. I like that. Bumpy Thompson, Bob Arum needs to really retire. Him and Eddie Hearn are effing up boxing, cheating gloves to being juice to the gills. Yeah, but I can't say that they're not responsible for it, dude. They're just going with the flow and making money. They just understand the system and they work the system. Because ultimately, it is the fans and the media that allow that shit to go on. It's the fans and the media that allow all that stuff to go on. Because the media knows better and could say it if they weren't in the pocket of the promoter, right? They have selective outrage. The boxing media, selective outrage. Just depends on. It's kind of similar to yesterday what we were talking about when we're like, the values of a champion, like what the value of a champion is, how much is their belt worth versus another guy's belt is worth. They just got a bunch of double standards, man. Ain't no other way to put that. But yeah, Haney should take that fight, man. Antonio Witherspoon said Bud's jaw suspect. Keith would expose him, Porter would expose him, and Spence would crush him. I don't know. You got to get your hands on him. You got to get your hands on that jaw. And I won't go so far as to say, and I'm always stopping that Terence Crawford can fight, man, because the guy can fight. It's just that he's not fighting anybody. And that one is like, come on, man. It's time to get it rolling. Damon Wester said, I wonder what Gary Russell's original price was. What do you mean his original price? Oh, like what he would be willing to accept? Would he be willing to accept? I can't say. Probably round 2. What you're talking about, what would be his BAFTA? Best alternative to a negotiated agreement? Is that what you mean? Like, hey, man, puzzle. 21247-365. Much love in that super chat, man. Thank you so much for your support. That is greatly appreciated. The original was 5. 5 what? The original 5 what? Oh, the original offer to Haney? I don't know. I didn't know that there was. I don't know what it was. I thought that he said that it was the original. I didn't know that there was an original offer from Devin Haney to Gary Russell Jr. That's not what I heard. There was no. I don't think there was an original offer to Haney. I think Haney said in the press Give me that one. Hey, I got 1.5 million for you. The offer was from Devin Haney to Gary Russell Jr. It wasn't from Gary Russell Jr. to Devin. I mean, to Devin. Devin was just piggybacking on what Terence Crawford, on what what Gary Russell Jr. said about it taking $1.5 million to fight Crawford. So I don't think that I haven't heard that there was an original offer. Devin just said it. Hey, I got $1.5 million to fight you. And Gary Russell Jr. said, make it 2 and you got to fight. That's an offer from Devin Haney to Gary Russell Jr. and Gary Russell Jr. counter offering him 2 and you got to fight. What's going on, Blue Blood? Subscribe to Blue Blood Sports TV. Russell said he sent an offer pre-pandemic. Yeah, I don't know. That you know more than me about that. But none of that matters because the offer is where it is right now. The offer is at $2 million. For $2 million, though, you can find $2 million. You can find $2 million, man. You can find $2 million. You know, easy. You can find $2 million. Antonio Witherspoon said he can fight, but has not been put in with no top fighters to test him. Bud will vacate the belt first before he fights who. But as far as Devin Haney, I like the fight between Devin Haney and Gary Russell Jr. I think that's a viable fight for Gary Russell Jr. And I think that's a viable fight for Devin Haney. Because Devin Haney's at 135, Gary Russell Jr. is at 126. Vasily Lomachenko was at 126. He came up from 126, fought at 130, then moved up to 135. So why can't and he's 135 and he's a 135-pound champion. Didn't Oscar De La Hoya? I think Oscar De La Hoya originally started at 126. I think, pretty sure he started something way down there. But yeah, there's been plenty of people that fought at 126 and moved to 135. So and they're 2 WBC belts. So the WBC shouldn't have a problem with it because it's the WBC lightweight championship and the WBC featherweight championship. So it all seems like it's it seems like it's all good to me. Yes, sir. Smash the like button, man. We got 150. We got a slow day as people creep on in. 150 in the building. So we should have 150 likes. Alvin Davis, man, thank you so much for supporting and holding down the chat. Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Smash that like button. Jupiter B. Man, I don't know why I always read Jupiter B's comments. It's like it's probably that big orange sign. It's the wrench and the membership that gets me. Haney versus Gary Russell Jr. need to happen. Haney has no excuse now. He talked himself into a corner. Yeah, but I think he'll take the fight. Like I think he'll do it. I believe he'll do it. I think Devin Haney will jump on it. I think he'll jump on it. He should jump on it. You know, I don't think it. Let's just see. Let's just see. Maybe this. I don't think it happened. First of all, he didn't say it that long ago. And second of all, Devin might be like, all right, hey, picked up the phone and called him and said, hold on, man, you serious? Like that could be going on. So, I don't have any issue with like any type of response from Devin Haney on that. I just think that was an excellent move by Gary Russell Jr. And that just by the nature of doing it, that Gary Russell Jr. proves that he's one of the hardest fighters in boxing. I don't care what people have to say about laughing at Gary Russell Jr. for making the offer to fight Terence Crawford. But if he makes the offer to Terence Crawford and then Devin Haney responds to it and he takes a fight with Devin Haney and fights it for the lightweight title at 135 pounds, that tells you that Gary Russell Jr., it's very likely Gary Russell Jr. is dead serious about the one at 147. that he wanted to go up 4 weight classes, but he had to settle for 2. So people talking about he's fighting once a year and all that stuff. He's like, shoot, I'm fighting once a year because don't nobody want to fight me. I only got a mandatory a year. I got a mandatory a year, and none of these people want to fight me voluntarily. So you getting on Gary Russell Jr. for only fighting once a year, but these dudes don't want to fight him. So who's he supposed to fight? You know, a bunch of fights so you can have 2 fights that people don't want to see. If nobody wants to fight you, how are you supposed to fight? But now, Gary Russell Jr. got the WBC lightweight champion of the world said, we got your 1.5 million. We got your 1.5 million. And Gary says 2. That is reasonable. So he must be serious. So if he turns back and says, I got the 2, then Gary Russell don't take the fight. Then you know Gary Russell Jr. ain't serious about it. I have a suspicion the little Gary Russell Jr. gonna take that fight. The Gary Russell Jr. ain't afraid of doing the same thing, roughly, that Leo Santa Cruz is doing by fighting Gervonta Davis. Leo Santa Cruz ain't much bigger than Gary Russell Jr. And Tank ain't that much smaller than Devin Haney. So seems like a good match to me, man. They need to go ahead and make that fight, which reminds me of another good fight that I'm hearing could be in the works with hopefully Danny Jacobs and Demetrius Andrade, because they're supposed to be fighting on the same card, the same DAZN card. So that would be a good fight, man. I wouldn't mind. DAZN need to do that. DAZN needs to make that. I'll definitely pay for that if they make that fight. Danny Jacobs and Demetrius Andrade. That is a what do you call it? A crossroads fight. Yes, sir. That's what you call a crossroads fight right there. I hope Haney accepts it immediately. Yo, that'd be great, man. Jump on it, man. All right, man. We got people coming in that not Raja. Raja said breaking news. Bud versus Ndungo 2 next. Oh man. You know, wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be crazy? I don't think he'll do it though. I don't think he'll do it. I think we're safe out of the Julius having to worry about him fighting Julius Ndungo. Even though I heard Julius Ndungo, I didn't get to see it. I got to go check it out. The Julius Ndungo was on my man Money Brown's my man Money Brown's channel. So I got to say, yeah, that's what's up. Hope to see the blue. Hope to see what is it? What is he? Blue. God damn, I forgot what his nickname was, man. But yeah, definitely hope that fight. Hey, look, man, we got 236 people in the building. Excuse me. Let's hit the likes, man. Hit the like on the way in, so that so YouTube will send out the notifications or whatever that they do in back behind that algorithm that makes their stuff so confusing from time to time. Yeah. So, yeah, that's hardcore, man. And the other thing is Terence Crawford. It looks like there's still a chance for Terence Crawford to fight Kell Brook. There was a report that came out, some article coming out of the UK that's where it was an interview with Kell Brook, and Kell Brook said that they're still trying to tweak the contract, but he feels like that fight can get made. So, we might be getting a step up fight for Bud, man. Dog, hit that like button, man. Come on, man. Hit the like button. We might be getting a step up fight for Terence Crawford. And it's ironic that the same step up fight for Terence Crawford would have been the same step up fight that Errol had at 147 pounds. So there is a story that can be told. And I'm gonna support the fight because hey, I said that it is the least acceptable of all the decent fights, of all the good fights or all the acceptable fights for Bud Crawford at under 47. Kell Brook is probably the least acceptable of the acceptable. The least acceptable. Say it that way. He's the least acceptable. Do y'all remember this phrase? When you least expect it, expect it. I'm going to check your old school cards. When you least expect it, expect it. Hey, you got to jump, man. I'm way behind on these chats. Like no chat has come in like 6 minutes. There ain't no way, Doug. No comment has been made in 6 minutes. YouTube is like on something. Let me hit the refresh, man. So maybe YouTube is on, man. Wow. Okay. I don't want to complain, but I know perfectly well that I didn't see any comments for like 5 minutes. I'm like, what? Is nobody talking? There ain't no way, man. All right. Calvin Johnson says, please hit the like button and show support for the channel and the platform. Y'all, please do hit the like button, man. Please hit the like button. Support the channel. Tweak the algorithm. Javon Freeman said, can Brook make 147 anymore is the question with draining himself. Oh, absolutely. That is a big question. That is definitely. But if he said he can, he can. If he said he can, he can. And he's been training in training camp for a while. And he's been in training camp in the UK where there's been no drug testing. So, yeah, he might be able to get down to 147 pretty easy. You know, not saying that he would. I'm just saying, like, if I was somebody that had a hard time making 147 and I was in the UK where out of competition weight loss nasal sprays are legal, maybe I would use that the entire time that I was getting ready for fights. So if I do that for 6 months, shoot, I might actually be in a situation where I can make that weight pretty easily. That could be the case. Mr. King T, Texas in the building. Hold on 1 second, man. Oh, man, hold on. Mr. T, King, Texas. What's going on, man? Much love in that super chat. Said Gary wants all the smoke. These guys should be chomping at the bit to fight the man who only lost is to the guy crazy Uncle Bob said was better than Ali. Yeah, you should be jumping on that, man. That should be something. That should be chop, easy money to make. That's chop, easy to do. Chop, and easy to do. So make it happen. Make it happen. And DAZN should take the fight. DAZN will take that fight. DAZN should take it. You think DAZN will pay? Now that's the problem. Does DAZN have money for that fight? Because, you know, DAZN don't like colored fights too much. That's a colored fight. I don't know. How many main events? Make sure I'm not missing something. Do you have any dual American little man main events on DAZN? I don't know. They might say black fighters don't sell and not want to take that fight. Like, who's Gary Russell Jr.? No. Think he might do that? I don't know. But it'd be interesting. But they said they got it. So if they got it, they got it. But DAZN ain't broke, D-man. DAZN ain't broke. They just, you know, don't want to spend money on boxing. But they ain't broke. They just don't want to spend that money on boxing. T-Bone in the building. Man, I don't see that, man. Yeah, dog, this is colored fights, man. This is a colored fight. So we don't know. You know what I mean? You got to wonder in boxing if it's a colored fight, rules change because they don't sell. You know what I mean? Obviously, dude, these cats got double standards. How else can you explain? I said it yesterday, but I'm going to say it again. How do you explain the fact that they say that Eastern Europeans are dominating boxing when they've got two or three major championships, and they're dominating the black fighters, and we got 17? How does that make sense? How can that, unless you value that, unless you give them, you know, a little extra credit? They put an accelerator on it. You know what I'm saying? They put an accelerator on it. Nah, Farmer was complaining he wasn't main event for a while. Yeah, there you go. So if they don't do it, they don't do it. Look, man, we almost got 300 people in the building, man. Let's get the likes over. We can get the likes to 200. Just hit the like, man. It doesn't take a lot of energy as you guys come into the chat. Just hit the like button. Just hit the like button. Not a difficult Not a difficult thing to do, man. Not a difficult thing to do. You just look for the thumb that heads up. Look at the thumb that heads up and hit the like button. Farmer was complaining he wasn't the main event for a while. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't think that they did a lot of that. Hold on one second. Because I just realized I made a mistake in my title. Oh, I didn't. Well, I'll do that one tomorrow. So, Terence Crawford fans. Oh, no, I'm not going to talk that. I'll do that tomorrow. We'll stick on the one we're doing right now. Donnie Ox said, in boxing, if it ain't white or Latino, they don't want to pay the purse. Hey, man. And it can't be for the quality. Can't be for the quality, dog. Cannot be for the quality. Raja said the only PBC knows how, only the PBC knows how to sell and treat black fighters, and it's not even close. Imagine Lara, Ugas, Rigo on the Zone or Top Prank. What's going on, man? What is going on, Ashley's Corner? Ashley's Corner. When I get to see Ashley's Corner? You get to see me all the time, man. When I get to see what you look like, Ashley. It's been a long time. I've known you multiple years, man. Ma'am. See Tay Brown, Miss Boxing. Seen all of them. Seen all y'all. And I love what you guys do. I don't make comments in you guys' stuff all the time, but I do love that. I do like that show. It's a Wine and Grind, something like that. I missed the name. And what's going on, Tay Brown? Fannon, any comments on Joyce versus Dubois fight October 18th? Yeah. Slow Joyce should get knocked out. I cannot imagine that him punching that slowly. Will allow him to get away from Daniel Dubois. My God, man. My God. Tay, thank you so much. Oh, wow. John Page. Much love in that super chat. Thank you guys for holding the chat down, man. And John Page, Gary Antoine Russell versus Robert Easter Jr. in the making. Gary Antoine Russell, next future star in boxing, hands down, 13-0, 13 KOs, ready for the belt. Yes, sir. Hey, man, them Russells can fight. I'm looking forward to him. That's a big light-skinned one, right? That's the bigger light-skinned cat, right? Gary Antoine Russell's the big one. But yeah, man, I like his hands, dude. I like his hands. And Robert Easter Jr., I'd love to see him back out there. But yeah, man, Gary Russell Jr., them Gary Russells, they doing DC proud. They doing DC right. I got to tell you, man. Got to tell you. Y'all think y'all going to punk them DC dudes and it didn't work. Now you got to come up off that money. Okay? And if you don't come up off that money, the liquor spot. Thank you. Sorry. The liquor spot. Yes, the liquor spot. Gong apology for the liquor spot. I just knew that it was on the channel, and I know who's on the show. Excellent show. Sorry about that. We'll not screw that up again. Because there's also another one that's got another similar name and sound from what is it? Chablis Fridays. Not Chablis. Merlot. Somebody's got a Merlot Fridays. I seen my man Stay Ready got cigars. He's got his like wine and cigar or like whiskey and cigar, but he's kicking it with a whiskey. He's got like a whiskey and a cigar in his mouth. I likes those shows, man. I likes them. Bob Arum gotta go. We should have Crawford Porter. Yeah, man. I think, hey, man, we have an outside chance for this stuff to happen, though. I'll tell you for sure. I really do believe that some things can take place where these guys are going to have to make fights. And that is if this corona crap keeps on going and going and going and going. If it keeps going, They are going to have to, at some point in time, fight major fights. That's why everybody should buy the pay-per-views. Buy the pay-per-view. Now, I've heard people say that my wife thought you was Coach Derrick James. Nah, man. No, man. Heck no. Bald head dudes do not all look alike, but I can see how you could think that just, if you didn't really know like the center of the face looks like. But that's much. Hey, much love, Brandon. What's going on? What's going on, Renee Box Young? Dame Lillard thinks ducking isn't happening. Yeah, I'll respond. Somebody asked me to respond to that. Does Damian Lillard didn't know anything about boxing? I did send a note. I did respond, so maybe he'll see it. But I agree with him. People do use the word ducking too much. People use the word ducking way too much. When you could be more specific, like avoiding, like refusing to fight, lowballing, lying, right? Refusing to fight straight up, asking for a franchise belt straight up, that's ducking, right? Leaving a weight class without fighting the champion, ducking, especially when they're calling you out, ducking. So we should be more specific. Yeah, you saw I tagged you in that response. Yeah, that's Wendell Ambrose. Yeah. So you saw what I said. Check it out on Twitter. Cam Young in the building, man. Much love in that super chat, man. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you. Because, YouTube beat me. Beat me, man. I think I ain't usually the type of person to argue with YouTube, but I think our YouTube just beat me out of a lot of dough. Like, hopefully they'll figure out that they beat me out of some money and I ain't got to keep complaining about it, but they beat me, man. It's like, wow, you beat me. You got to know you beat me. But hopefully it'll fix itself. But thank you for the support, man. It's funny. I never complain about YouTube, but I got to complain about them today. A little bit. And that's it. That's all I'm going to. Lowland Prophet says, scared to death of and is unwilling to fight. Yeah, that is a perfect example of ducking. But Damian Lillard, man, come on, man. What do you like? You like Bud or something? What is he, a Bud? Is he Bud's friend or something? Who exactly is he saying people are overusing the term for? You know what I mean? Like, that is true. Like, people said Deontay Wilder ducked Dillian White. That is a complete and utter example of somebody getting ducking wrong. That is not ducking. That's not ducking at all. When somebody is just basically some journeyman that the newspapers keep saying you should fight, but you're trying to undisputed. When you got legitimately something better to do, like fighting Luis Ortiz, who's a real threat. He ain't. Man, come on, man. Oh, I'm looking forward to that card, man. Please, let me have Luis Ortiz versus Andy Ruiz. Please make that fight. Please make that fight. That is a fight that is genius. That is a genius fight right there. Make that fight. Please make that fight. Please make that fight. Man, Wendell Ambrose said, big supporter, keep spitting the truth. Man, I am going to continue to spit it. Thank you. Much love in that super chat. Thank you guys for showing out so much in the super chat today. I actually love it. You're a Terence Crawford hater. I've been waiting on this all day. Thank you for allowing me, because I had a note which says, attack first idiot that calls you a hater for Terence Crawford. Okay, it was right there. I didn't know it would be Kent Johnson that would be the hater, but I knew some moron would say that. Even if I'm a hater of Terence Crawford, it does not change the facts. I can accept what you say, that I am a Terence Crawford hater. Yes, I am. I hate Terence Crawford, can't stand him. Why can't you stand him? Because I don't like Omaha, Nebraska. Okay. Does that work for you? I don't like him because he's from Omaha, Nebraska. Okay. I don't like him because he's from Omaha, Nebraska. I don't like the color red, and he keeps wearing the red. That's why I don't like him. Now, I admitted to you. Now, ask me a question. Now, you tell me, am I wrong? Am I wrong in what I said? If I'm not wrong in what I said, it doesn't matter if I'm a hater or not. I can hate your guts. But if you owe me $50 and you know you owe me $50, you owe me $50. You can't be like, I ain't gonna pay you your $50 because you're just a hater. You're a hater. You want your $50 back. Yes, I'm a hater and I want my $50 back. Give me my $50. See, haters irrelevant. So call me names all you want. However, Bud ain't fighting nobody. We are praying right now, hoping, like best case scenario for Bud, Mr. Johnson. Best case scenario for Bud. Our hopes for Bud. We get a Kell Brook fight. We got a Kell Brook fight. I'm so happy. Oh my God. Did you hear? We don't have to worry about any more Aegis Calvinaucuses. We don't have to worry about him fighting Jose Benavidez again. We don't have to worry about him fighting a guy that got shot in both knees. We don't have to worry about a guy that's been getting knocked out 6 times. We finally get to get a guy whose only problem was that both of his eye sockets have been broken. That's the only thing. Other than that, great fighter. Other than that, great fighter. Michael Winders, Porter is not his mandatory. That is incorrect. From all accounts, I cannot see how that is the case. Okay, I've still not found where that is the case. I'm looking hard, hoping it's the case, but I have not seen that that is the case. And I'm not going to explain why anymore. Go see the show that I did yesterday. Okay, that's what happened with Dillian White, where people keep confusing the mandatory with the number one contender. They are not the same thing. Okay, they are not the same thing. He's not the mandatory until the WBO orders the mandatory. That's when he becomes the mandatory. Until then, he's not the mandatory. Not Devin Haney. Dillian White was not the mandatory. He was not waiting 600 days. No, he was not. He was waiting for whatever. He waited for like 28 days before he popped dirty for performance-enhancing drugs. Because Dominic Brazil was the mandatory. Just not how it works. It's not how it works. You have to be ordered. They have to mandate it. Okay? Mandate it. Otherwise, they could have different. They should do it champion, mandatory, number 1, number 2, number 3. Just whenever the guy becomes a mandatory, put him in the mandatory slot and give somebody else the number 1 position. Right? That would make it clear that there's a difference between the number 1 and the mandatory. Think about it that way. Think about you have a champion, you have a designated mandatory, who's next? Then you got the number 1, 2, 3. And the guy that's the mandatory might be the number 4, but he's the mandatory. But you got to be named the mandatory. You don't become mandatory by virtue of being number 1 because there's too many hangups with that. And you can see that reflected in the rules of the WBO, where the WBO says they take into consideration 3 prongs, 3 different things that they take in consideration. And you can go read it. But one of them is whether or not the contenders, whether or not the person, the availability, who's the best available person, right? Does the guy have another fight? The number 1 have another fight? Or are they injured or whatever, right? But there's all kind of reasons why the number 1 might not be the mandatory. So they have to actually order the mandatory. So when you can show me that the WBO says we are ordering the WBO is ordering this fight, then I'll know he's the mandatory. For every other time that you are looking to see who the mandatory is, you always can point to where you can go to a Google and say WBC orders WBO names thus and such mandatory for thus and such, because they do press releases. And I have not seen the press release. Now, admittedly, I've not looked over the last 2 days. I did a cursory look when I heard about it, But the number one position was also held by Danny Garcia, and Danny Garcia was never the mandatory. So that's another way to show you. Like, Danny Garcia was the number one contender, but Danny Garcia was never the mandatory. You got to show me where they were. You don't have to show me. I don't care, right? There'll be a mandatory. I believe the fight happens when hell freezes over. You know what I mean? I believe that when hell freezes over, that they're going to put Terence Crawford in there with Sean Porter before the Errol Spence Jr. fight. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. There's a lot of comments. Yeah, so I don't believe it, man. Let's get the likes up, man. Let me do my like search. Look, we got 400 people in the building. We got 243 likes, man. Can we get the likes over 300? It would be awesome. It would be greatly appreciated. And thank you guys so much for you guys' support in the channel. Make sure I did not miss the super chat because they definitely came through. So you guys definitely came through with them. Thank you. Yes, Antonio Witherspoon said, Bud is cherry picking because of his contract. I think that makes a lot of sense, man. It's definitely a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. And, you know, to Bud's defense, which is a defense I'm surprised you guys never use. You guys never use it. I could give it to you. Matter of fact, let me give it to you. But I warn you, if you take it, I have a counter. But you never say, well, it's Corona. They don't have the money for the fight. It's Corona. They don't have the money of the fight because there's no gate. Right? However, that could easily be countered by, hey, why can't Bud fight over there on a pay-per-view on the PBC? Much love, and thank you so much for that love and that super chat, man. Oh, I forgot my gum. Who's my favorite boxer all time is Muhammad Ali. More recently, probably a tie between James Toney, Andre Ward, and Felix Tito Trinidad. I got a lot of favorites, man. A lot of fighters I like, man. Michael Winter said, you sent me the link. What's going on, Terry Schmoot in the building? Bud is following Pampa Bob's way of doing business by the T, playing himself. Yes, sir. Much love in that super chat. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You sent me a link. Let me see. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't see a link, not in my email. Don't see it. Mr. T King, Texas. I believe we are more likely to see Spence Porter 2 before we see Spence Crawford. I think that's likely. I think that's very likely. I would rather see if this is what I would prefer to see. I would prefer to see. If Errol Spence Jr. beats Danny Garcia and he can't get the Manny Pacquiao fight, and there's any issue with the Terence Crawford fight, I want to see Keith Thurman and Errol Spence Jr. I want to revitalize the talk of that fight. I think that would be a really good fight, man. I think that would be a great lead into the fight. Can't copy it from the chat. Oh. Oh, 20. Yeah, I got you. Bud is not fighting because he'll get an L. Because when he get an L, he's going to retire. Oh, wow, man. Do you think that there could be any of that? I need to be undefeated because of Floyd Mayweather Jr. thing? Do you think maybe he's already on like a little bit of a Floyd Mayweather plan? but like for a lot less money, like a super budget Floyd Mayweather Jr. type situation. Because Floyd got that contract, got the guaranteed contract from Showtime, and he stopped fighting a lot of good guys. He fought Canelo Alvarez and he fought Manny Pacquiao. But there was, a whole bunch. There's a bunch of Robert the Ghost Guerreros and Victor Ortiz and Marcos Maidana's in there too. You know what I mean? So, maybe there's a little bit of that in there. Maybe there's a little bit of that, that Floyd Mayweather Jr. thing, man. Maybe there's a little bit of the Floyd Mayweather Jr. in him. I don't know. I just hope he fights. I'll take Kell Brook. Because Kell Brook allow, at least me, I won't have to talk about it anymore. We can move on to how is he going to do against Kell Brook? And then, during like the 3 months, of the lead in and into the fight and all that, after that point in time, we can then say, well, we can go back to saying he ain't that, we can go back to the conversation. But at least now it'd be like, all right, he's fighting Kell Brook. Kell Brook should be able to test him. And I think that's for real. I don't think Kell Brook is so gone that he doesn't have, I don't think he's like a shell of himself. You know what I mean? He lost to Errol Spence. He did get whooped. He did get whooped something nasty by Errol Spence. 24/7 Mentality said, Bud is following Pamper Bob's way of doing business and playing to the T and playing himself. I got that. Maybe I'm way behind on the chats. I thought I got that. Is there a different one than that? That I missed? Oh, maybe I did. Oh, Lord. Thank you guys so much for helping me with this. Give me 1 second. Man. These muggers here, boy. John Page said the whole 126-pound division ducked Gary Russell Jr. Much love in that super chat, man. KM1. Okay, that's the one I think I missed. My man John Page says the whole 124-pound division. We'll see if I can get this put in the chat so that I can lift it up and we'll talk about that. Because I definitely want to say there you go. That was from a man who said the whole 126-pound division ducked Gary Russell Jr. Much love in that super chat. To John Page. Yeah, man. They did. Including I ain't gonna say Shakur Stevenson ducked him. I'm not gonna say that he ducked, Shakur Stevenson ducked him mainly because I want to be more kind to him. And I don't want to talk bad about Shakur Stevenson because I think Shakur Stevenson would fight him. If the fight didn't happen, it was probably more related to the management on Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson doesn't have the track record that Terence Crawford has with this. Terence Crawford just really piled up a track record of saying no real quick. Like out of the blue. Because it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. He wasn't like that. He didn't sound like that at 135. He didn't sound like that at 140. He sounded like he wanted the fights. But there were no big money fights at those divisions, right? 135, there was no big fight at 135 really for Bud. So that is probably why he was willing to fight anybody. He was trying to get on. And at 140, there was no real big money fights. He had the Victor Postal, but Victor Postal, that pay-per-view sold 50,000 pay-per-views. That was because of Victor Postal. That was Victor Postal. Like, I don't know why how many Eastern Europeans are selling pay-per-view on themselves, just themselves? None. You know what I mean? None. So Victor Postal just is a bad guy to fight, man. It was I don't know, was that a way to appease him or something? But there was really nobody big to fight at 140 for him. But at 147, man, he pumped the brakes, man, because it's like, ooh, big money payday with that guy and that guy. Those are the guys I'm going to fight. he doesn't. And it seems like he thinks that fighting these other guys are like, is it a situation where he has to earn his way to get to that fight? Because Bud has said that he doesn't think he needs to earn a fight with Errol Spence. So maybe he's rejecting these fights because he takes it in the context that, that this is somehow him acquiescing to the concept that he has to earn the Errol Spence Jr. fight. Now, I don't believe that he needs to fight. Terence Crawford needs to earn the Errol Spence Jr. fight, but I do believe that I want to see him fight somebody. So it's just a very it's a complicated situation, man, or a multifaceted situation. It's a multifaceted situation. And Bud's looking like a duck because a little old dude named Gary Russell Jr. is looking hardcore, man. Number one, he slapped Bud in the mouth. Number one, Gary Russell Jr. slapped you in the mouth. Okay. We cannot start this conversation, have much of this conversation without pointing out that Gary Russell Jr. punched Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr. punched Terence Crawford in the face, in the mouth, said in the jaw, but that's close enough to the mouth. Punched him in the jaw, calls him out. Terence Crawford doesn't want to take the fight, but Gary Russell Jr. is still willing to go up to lightweight to fight Devin Haney. He was willing to fight. He was willing to fight you, Terence Crawford. Gary Russell Jr. said he was willing to fight you for $500,000 less than he is willing to fight Devin Haney. Can somebody tell me if they've ever heard a fighter do that? And if you have not, please tell me what that makes Bud look like. Is it my imagination? Is it my imagination, or does that make you kind of look like a sucker? If the 126-pound champion says, I will fight you for $1.5 million, Bud, and then a guy 2 weight classes down says, I'll fight you, but for $2 million. Yeah, no, and then Devin Haney says, oh, I'll fight you for 1.5. And Devin's like, no, Devin Haney, I respect you too much to fight you for $2 million. I respect you too much, Gary. Yeah, that Gary said, dude, I respect you too much, and our fight is too valuable for me to take $1.5 million from you, Devin. I need at least 2, and you got to fight. 2, and you got to fight. But Terence Crawford, I'll give you a motherfucking discount of $500,000 to get my hands on you. Not, ooh, I'm moving up 2 more weight classes. I deserve more money. No, I'm moving up 2 more weight classes and I want less money because I want to slap you in the mouth again. Kent Johnson, everybody wants recognition, okay? Bud wants recognition. I don't want to hear that. Everybody wants recognition. Who doesn't want recognition? Of course, Terence, of course he wants recognition. He wants you to recognize that he slapped you in the mouth. He wants people to recognize that he whooped you. That's what championships are. Recognition, acknowledgement that you're the best. Of course he does. Of course he does. Nah, man, there ain't no way around that, dog. Gary outplayed him on that one. Gary outplayed him on that one. That was a lose-lose. Now he's in a lose-lose-lost position. But, now in a lose-lose-lost position. Mr. Teen King, Texas, much love in that super chat, man. Thank you guys for holding down the channel, man. Make sure y'all hit the like. We almost got 500 people in the building. Hit the like, man. Hit the like. Let YouTube know that you like my show. Let them know that you want to get the notifications and all that stuff so we can keep the conversation popping. Because they can be funny, okay? It can be funny. That algorithm is funny. Much love in that super chat, man. Thank you so much, Mr. T. King, Texas. What's going on, Texas OG? Dr. Leedy. But you talking like Bud scared. It serves him nothing to fight Gary Russell Jr. Really? It doesn't serve him anything. How about money? Gary, he's going to earn $5 million for the fight. There's a lot in it. He gets $5 million for the fight. Nobody's asking for Gary Russell Jr. to fight him in a parking lot. $5 million ain't a lot of money. $5 million. And Terence Crawford and Gary Russell Jr. said he would fight him within budget. If you got budgeted $1.5 million that you're getting from ESPN, give me the $1.5 million if Kell Brook don't want it. Give me it and you can keep the rest. Shoot, by him taking 1.5, that means Terence Crawford can make even more money. And Gary Russell Jr. is a known commodity. More people know Gary Russell Jr. than Igis Kalvanakis. You get to bring the whole city of DC to watch you. You get the whole DMV. You know how many people in the DMV? You know how many boxing fans? DMV is a boxing hotbed. There's more boxing fans in the DMV than there are in Nebraska. Dog, he need to go to DC to fight him. I heard somebody was like, please don't go nowhere near DC. It's going to be too crazy. But, man, come on, man. Come on, man. The DMV. Do it in the DMV. Bud can sell out in the DMV with Gary Russell Jr. Bud likes money. Bud likes money, right? There's money in that fight, man. That's a money fight. And ain't nobody saying it's not a money fight. Like, Gary Russell Jr. can't. Man, everybody know Gary Russell Jr., man. And to see Terence Crawford and Gary Russell Jr., every serious black boxing fan in the country is going to watch that fight. Everybody might be talking shit on the way in, like, oh, this is a waste of time. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. It's a mismatch. But, dog, we're already doing that for Bud fights. So what's the difference? You don't even lose anything because all of the fights he's been having have been wasted times. So it's not like he even loses. You know what I'm saying? It's as valid a fight as the crap he's been having. I would take a Gary Russell Jr. fight against Terence Crawford over a shotgun blast to the leg of Jose Benavidez, but the Jose Benavidez fight actually turned out to be pretty decent. Jose Benavidez got knocked out at the last second. That was a by the hair, chinny chin chin knockout of the guy with one leg, which I find very interesting. How certain people dog out Gervonta Tank Davis for his performance with Yuriorkis Gamboa, but fail to remember that Pegleg Benavidez almost went the distance and got knocked out with like the last 30 seconds. He was like Hail Mary. He threw a Hail Mary uppercut. Ooh, it was nice too. Boom. Got him. If Benavidez had a leg and could have ran, it wouldn't have happened. Now imagine if Jose Benavidez had two good knees and he could have moved. You would never know what could have happened, man. Hit the like button, man. Hey, Dr. Leedy, thank you for the question, man. I hope that I'm going to try to soften my tone and not be so aggressive in this boxing talk because that's what we're doing. We're doing the boxing talk. It's just boxing talk. That's hilarious. Thank you, though. I appreciate that, man. Facts. Tank is dumb for saying Gary ain't that big. It's DC versus Baltimore. Like, bro, you serious? Oh, yeah. Yeah. No. That will sell. That will make it hot. That is a good fight. And plus, y'all underestimate. Dude, y'all better hope Gary Russell ain't as good as he says he is. Okay? Because you guys keep acting like Gary Russell can't fight. The size is the only issue. Size is the only issue. And I always keep hearing people talk about how size don't matter. If you can fight, you can fight. We know there's weight classes for a reason. But you know what I'm saying? Just let the little man have his shot. Let the little man get in there, man. Don't be ball hogging. Gary should be called Scary Russell Jr. from now on. Oh, because he's scaring people? Hashtag Scary Russell Jr. I don't like that because that makes it sound like Gary Russell Jr. is the one that's afraid. Because that's how I use the word scary. Like, man, you scared. Scary Russell Jr. That's what I would call Gary Russell Jr. if it was him. Scary Crawford, like Scarence Crawford, that would be more because he ain't scary, but exactly, man. Let Gary eat. What's wrong with Gary making some money, man? Why can't Gary get his dough? You got all these other, you're happy with all these other mismatches, selective mismatches, huh? You okay with Bud's other mismatches, but this mismatch, no, that's too much of a mismatch. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Torrey Harkins. It's a mismatch. Okay, it's a mismatch. What was Karen's? Okay, let's take a quiz here. Torrey Harkinson says it is a mismatch. Okay. Put a 1 in the chat if you think Amir Khan versus Terence Crawford was a mismatch. Put a 1 in the chat for me, please. Let's let's get the chat participating. We got 495 people in the building. Hit the like and put a 1 in the chat if what I asked was correct. If Amir Khan versus Terence Crawford was a mismatch. I'm seeing some 1s, dog. I know I can get some 1s and I can get some likes, dog. We got 500 people in the building. We only got 434 likes, man. We should have 500 likes. We should definitely have 500 likes. So, okay. So that's 1. That's 1. That's 1. A whole lot of 1s. If you're in the chat, dude, there should be 1s. If you don't think it was a mismatch, put a 2. If you don't think it was a mismatch, put a 2. But I see a ongoing cascade of 1s is what I see. That was a mismatch. Y'all still blocking people for disagreeing. I don't care, man. Let's not distract. Miss 24/7 King mentality said recognition is part of the human hierarchy of needs. Absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody needs to be recognized. Ain't nobody wrong with that. You're trying to call him a clout chaser, though. Nah, dog. Dog, Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr. is as good a fighter as Terence Crawford is. He's good, man. So we can guarantee we can take from all these votes that's a 1, sir. That's a 1. So that was a mismatch. Please put, oh yeah, you didn't block. You got timed out, Jay Peso. Yeah, we're not blocking people. We are timing people out, but only one time out. Okay? Only one time out. Let them breathe, let them come back. The only way people are getting bodied is if I need to practice to keep myself, nimble, making sure that I still know how to grab the quick body. Bow. But other than that, it's all good, man. We got pretty much all of the haters on YouTube blocked. And so even the haters know the rules now. Like by now, the haters know the rules. By now, the trolls know the rules. And Anthony Joshua's, they're not paying for bots anymore. All right, so that was a mismatch. Can somebody tell me if Jeff Horn, Terence Crawford was a mismatch? Give me a 1 if Terence Crawford, Jeff Horn was a mismatch. Give me 2 if you think the Terence Crawford, Jeff Horn was not a mismatch. And let's keep the participation in the chat high. Let's get to the 500 likes, man. Well, we can at least get to 400. Okay, we can get to 400. And I can get to 14 dislikes. Okay, I know there's more than 4 of y'all to dislike. But this is a lot of likes. This is a lot of 1s coming through here, people. It's a lot of 1s. Another cascade of 1s. Daniel Cantu said 2 because of the belt. Nah, that's whether or not he should have taken the fight. It's still a mismatch. Carl Connor says 2. Linkta said 2. We got a couple 2s. What's that? 3, 4 2s? We got some people. Rigo said I say 1.5, 2 since they went to his backyard. Yeah, okay. But no, they didn't go to his backyard. That was Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford fought at home. So we got like 5 2s. We got 1 point. Yeah, there you go. I appreciate that. All right. So by and large, 2s. So many people think, some people thought it wasn't. Now let's move on to this. Let's do this. I got to wait till, so that's it. Okay. So by and large, by the preponderance of the vote, all the ayes have it. The nays, the ayes have it. The nay beat the nays. Jonathan Wilkerson says 2. So some people respect Jeff Horn. Okay, so reasonable. And I must say that I think that is a reasonable thing to say for the people that said too, because he had a belt. See, that was a fight that he needed to take because he had the belt, but it was still a mismatch. You know what I mean? Similar to this. If Errol Spence Jr. fought Carlos Ocampo for the WBA belt, it would still be a mismatch, but it would be a championship fight. It was just a championship mismatch. Oh, it definitely had to take place. I'm not saying that it was a fight that he shouldn't have taken. I'm just saying that it was a mismatch. But cool. That is Jeff Horn. What about Jose Benavidez? Would you say Jose Benavidez was a mismatch or not a mismatch? One for Benavidez being a mismatch. I think if I see anybody that puts a 2 on that question, I know you're lying. I know you're lying. Okay? I know you're lying. If you say that, I know you're lying. You're lying. Terry Schmoot definitely lying. Quay dear dude, you know you lying. Don't lie now. Well, you're lying. I just know who's now willing to lie. Y'all know y'all lying, man. Come on, man. Let's get the likes over 400, man. Y'all know you lying. You know you're lying. Okay? However, since 111 got a super chat waiting, boss. Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. Oh, let me read it. I missed the super chat. Let me get that super chat. Thank you, man, for helping me out with that. Oh, man, come on, dude. Now, the next one, obviously, is going to be when King Kong had the champ on the ropes. Oh, my bad. For sure. Oh, I can't stand. I got it. Ugh. Oh, here you go. I got it. Okay, my man, 24/7 King mentality. Much love in that super chat. Said when King Kong had the champ on the ropes with those body shots, I recall, I think he shirted my pants. Woo, oh, when he got out of that, oh, it was tough, man. Woo. Yes, sir. Much love in that super chat, man. Mr. Tin King Sex, it was a line at 147 before Bud got there. Seems to me like he is in the right place when it comes to the PBC fighters, the end of the line. Much love in that super chat, man. Thank you so much. That's 24 King Sex, King mentality, 24/7 King mentality, and Mr. T King Texas. Much love in that super chat, man. Thank you guys for holding down the chat in tremendous fashion. P. Good said, how can you be the underdog, not have a belt, and still be the A-side? Sounds like paying people to lose to me. How can you be the underdog, not have a belt, and still be the A-side? Oh, that sounds like the story of Adrian Bronner. Oh, that sounds like Adrian Bronner to me, because he dang sure can be an underdog, not have a belt, and still be the A-side. Hey, that's some good smack talk for Adrian Bronner. He might want to steal that from me. He might want to steal that, because that's about right. Adrian Bronner can do that. Gary's approach all wrong. He should say something. He should say he's something in Crawford. I don't get that, JR. Oh, okay. All right, so back to serious boxing. Let's do some serious boxing talk now. We can move it into some serious land. Do you think Gary has a better chance of beating Crawford than Khan had with Canelo? Absolutely. Absolutely. He's got a better man. Khan was dead man walking. Khan had no chance. Yes, sir. I think that. Yeah, absolutely he does. And Crawford was at 130. What was that, 160? I mean, Khan was at 130 at a point, And that fight, I think, was at 154 or was that 160? Man, Khan had zero chance in that fight. Slim Creeper said, people sleep on Gary. It's almost a crime. Man, you know, Gary Russell Jr. suffers from the problem that he's a little man. That's it. His only problem is that he's little. Because if he was bigger, and that's why I'm going to pay attention to his brother, Gary Antoine Russell, because he's bigger. A bigger Gary Russell Jr. is going to hurt you. Because Gary Russell Jr. be laying hands on people, man. Laying hands on them. But they don't go away. You know what I mean? They don't go away. Probably because he's already fighting like, you know, like I have a suspicion he can make 122. Like I have a sneaking suspicion he can make 122. Sneaking suspicion that if necessary, he could drop another 4 pounds and go to 122. He's not even a big 126. So he doesn't carry a lot of problem, man. He doesn't carry a lot of power. But his boxing skills, man, are superb. Like, I watched that fight, the King Tug fight, and because I was like, yeah, that King Tug looks like, on paper, looks like a tough fight. Like, besides Vasily Lomachenko, it looks like one of the tougher fights of definitely of Gary Russell Jr.'s title reign, right? But then when he got in him, man, he made him look just like a clown, man. He made him look like a clown. Hopefully we're not behind each other. But, man, much love on that for reminding me about that, man. Let me do it again. Check these super chats because sometimes we could just be running behind. Yeah, I think I got them all. I think I did them all. Recognition is part of the human hierarchy of needs. Much love to 24/7 King mentality. Focus ball. Gary should be called Scary Russell Jr. I got it. I did. I got them all. Oh, no, I missed it. Only PBC knows how. No, I got that. Only PBC knows how to sell, treat black fighters, and it's not even close. Imagine Lara, Ugas, Rigo on Zone or Top Prank. Yep, okay, we're up to date. We're up to date. Jay Pesto, you can timed out something fierce, though. Fannon, did you Google Porter being the mandatory? I have Googled it, and I see videos about it. I don't see a Porter. I hope it pops up. Okay, I don't see anything where it says the WBO ordered it. I see videos and I see an article. It says, according to the new rankings, I'm not going to say what the website is. No, I don't get that. That's just not. Look, somebody, look, man. Unless somebody can show, somebody please show me where the WBO says that they designated Porter as the mandatory for Terence Crawford. Okay, somebody please just show me that. I don't want to talk about it until somebody show me that, because I keep having people say that he's now the number one, then that makes him the mandatory, and that's not true. But I don't want to beat a dead horse. If people don't want to believe me that that's not the case, then I'm just wrong. Okay, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I don't see anything. I never saw anything in the rules that said the number one contender is the mandatory. It says that they have 3 different criterias for which they select the mandatory. You know? And then And he just was named number 1. I just don't see where the WBO has ordered this. I don't see that. I just don't see it. Because they usually say it's like you'll be able to see that there's an order, given by the WBO. You should be able to see the order from the WBO and get the same source that any other media source would get it from. Every media source that would cite somebody being the mandatory would have to get to the release, the press release from the WBO. I mean, and even if he is as mandatory, dude, I don't see him taking that fight as a mandatory, because if you go to purse bid, you're only going to get like 25% or whatever the cut is, 30% most. So it's just like, I mean, I like that they ranked him number 1. That's a good ranking. That's where he needs to be. And matter of fact, dude, all of the ranking systems really should have the same people in the same spots if they were a real ranking system. You know what I mean? Dang, how's it that wildly different? How are the ranking systems, the people ranked that wildly different? You know what I mean? You don't have, Deontay Wilder is not the WBC champion. He should be in the top 3 of everybody's rankings, of everybody's. And you got guys that are ranked in one that aren't anywhere in the top 50 of another. So it's just the relationships between the ranking systems of the different, it's just fucking stupid. But for me, the only way that I see Sean Porter versus Terence Crawford happening is as a voluntary. It's voluntary. And Terence Crawford his last fight was his mandatory. I don't know. The conversation confuses me. The whole conversation about that confuses me. But the ranking is legit. That's telling me that how did Gary call Devin's bluff by saying he'd fight for $2 million? Calling your bluff. I think you're bluffing. I'll take $2 million. Now you could be wrong. Now maybe, I don't know. He didn't play his cards yet. At this point in time, sounded like a bluff. It sounded like he didn't think, he just was saying it. I got $1 million for you. Right? It was we got 1.5 million for you. Like Devin Haney just said it. Right? Because if Devin Haney was really looking for Gary Russell Jr., he would have made the offer to Gary Russell Jr. to begin with. Said, hey, Gary, you're looking for the fight. Come up, fight me. But now I guess he did. But Gary Russell Jr. now said, okay, cool. Now it's on. Now I called him, which in poker means, boop. You said, oh, you up the bet? Okay, cool. Boop. I called you and I raised you 500. That's what I mean by that. I don't think Devin Haney was serious when he said that. I think that was off the cuff. Right? But Gary Russell Jr. said, I'll take I'll do your 1.5, but I'll take the 1.5, but I need 200. I need 2 million. 2 million and you got to fight. They should split the difference and log it in. No. Devin Haney should come up off $2 million and make the fight. Because if Devin Haney comes back and says 1.75, nah, dog, it sounds like you're looking out of the fight. You're looking to get out. No, man. 2 million. And matter of fact, if I could do it, I'd be like, how about 2.1? See, that's that kind of fun negotiation. Like, oh, you want 2 million? Okay, how about 2.1? You asked me for 2, I'm giving you 2.1. Give me the fight. You know what I'm saying? Give me the fight. Just in case there's some other issues that you might be bringing up later, that extra 100,000 should take care of it. Yeah, but 2 million is fair. Gary Russell Jr. is a champion. He's the second longest reigning. He's the longest reigning legitimate champion in boxing. I ain't counting the minimum weights, man. There's only like 100 minimum weight. There's not 50 good minimum weight fighters in the world. I ain't trying to hear that, man. Some fart weight champ. Get out of here, man. Who had it like a week longer. No, Gary Russell Jr., featherweight, a real weight class. That's the man. Let's get a man to fight. Let's see if we got the likes to fight. I know we don't have 500 likes. See, I just don't do it. Hit the likes button, man. 386. Can we get the likes up to 400? Haney is the best in 130 and 135. Albert Dennis, Michael Winters. Haney is not at 130. So that's not quite possible. All right, let me talk to you a second here, Michael Winters. Okay. Let's explain something because we got a phenomenon going on right here, Michael Winters. And this is for all you guys that really think that I'm just mean and I'm just a hater and I'm not, I'm just making up shit, all kind of stuff, right? Not making up shit. Nobody ever accuses me of just making up shit. At least not that I've heard. Fake narratives and shit. What fake narrative means, shit that I don't agree with. That's what they don't say. Oh, you're pushing false narratives. That just means you don't agree with me because ain't nothing that I said not true. Okay? You just don't agree with me. However, I have to tell you, Michael Winters is giving us a perfect opportunity to explain something to you. See, Michael don't know shit about boxing. See that? Dafu in that super chat. Much love in that super chat. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Much love in that super chat. And thank you for supporting this section, which is called Expose Michael Winters. Now, see, this guy is telling you that Devin Haney is the best at 130 and 135. Any real boxing fan with Nelt can immediately see what's wrong with that sentence. Can somebody tell me? I probably already gave it away. But what is wrong with that sentence? Let's check to make sure that, hey, yeah, I'm going to say that shit. Fuck that. Come on, how much of a chance are you giving Kell Brook against Bud? 30%? Think it's a 70-30 fight. I won't disrespect it and put it any lower than that, but not a great one. Mo, no, Devin Haney does not fight at 140. Devin Haney fights at 135. Desi Bryant with the answer. That's the problem right there. That you said 130. He doesn't fight at 130. He doesn't fight at 130. So how can he be the best in the weight class he doesn't fight at and has never fought at? His first fight was okay. He fought one fight at 130. He's not a champion at 130. He is not the best fight. Guess what? Errol Spence Jr. started his career at 154 for a fight. He was not. He was not a 154 pounder, dude. I don't want to hear he had a couple fights in Mexico at 130 pounds when he was 18 years old. He turned pro when he's like 16 years old. I don't want to hear that. He's not a 130 pounder. He's never been a contender at 130 pounds. Stop. Okay. Devin Haney's a 135 pounder. And what the guy said was he is the best at 130. He's not at 130. So how can he be the best at 130? Is Terence Crawford the best at 140? Is Terence Crawford the best at 135? Does that make any sense? Oh, Terence Crawford started his career at 135. He's the best at 135. And he's the best at 140. Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't. So stop. Now, I just wanted to point that out for the sake of this little bit of cleaning house. Now, sometimes y'all just don't know what you're talking about. You like boxing, but you don't know what you're talking about because you don't watch it very closely. And you're arguing for the sake of arguing with no supporting evidence whatsoever. And for you to say, stop yelling. No, this is how I have testicles. I have testicles. So, and I'm a man. So that's how my voice comes out. Thank you very much. What's wrong with you? This is not yelling. This is just being a male. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what kind of little soft ass voice. Hi, I'd like to make your video. Is this how you talk, PG? All like nice and soft, where nobody ever has to cover their ears. What the fuck I look like to you, man? Michael fucking Jackson? Nigga, I'm not talking like this to you. You're not a woman, okay? You're not a female. I'm not going to soften up my voice So I make sure that I don't touch your Derek. How about you, stupid motherfucker, turn the volume down on your headphones? Have you ever thought about that, dummy? Huh? Maybe it's your fucking volume where, that dial in front of you that goes down if it's hurting your little boo-boo ears. The fuck is wrong with you? Like, what grown motherfucking man wants somebody to talk to him like this? Fuck is wrong with you? Okay? like punk. Nigga, turn the volume down on your mic, moron. Like, the fuck is wrong with you? I never understand people that tell me that. Well, nigga, it's called a chest, man. It's testosterone. It's masculinity. That's what it is. I'm not yelling at you because you're a fucking softy. Okay? All right. I'm not yelling at you because you have no base. All right. In your shit. All right. The hell out of here, man. Terrible. What's wrong with you people? And on top of that, your fucking headphones work. You know what I'm saying? Turn the shit down. Exactly. That's what he wants me to do. People have told me to do that. He said, Skills Cuss said, what the fuck am I listening to for 9 ASRM? That's that like that. Isn't that like that voice shit? Like motherfuckers get off on you talking to them real quiet and shit. Somebody's like, you have a great voice for ASMR. It'll put you right to sleep if you just read the script in a monotone voice and let them hear the rumble in your voice. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. So like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Oh my God, man. His name is PG Fannon. What the fuck is PG? The guy that says something PG? I don't know, man. It ain't none of y'all's name. Ain't none of y'all's name PG. Okay. I'm seriously, man, I'm stunned by some of the things you people say, man. I'm stunned. Exactly. Said, is this reading? Is this reading class? Hold on, let me check something. I don't get, man. It's like, you nigga, like it's a library or something. Like it's a library. Oh man, Raj said, I remember one time I was listening to you in the gym and you said something that made me almost fall off the damn treadmill. Hey man, it can be funny from time to time, man. Oh, exactly. Are we in a library or something? Like, what the fuck you guys like? I don't get that shit. It bugs me, man. I love my wife to death, but she tells me that. I'm like talking to her, and I'm just talking to her. I'm not yelling. I'm just talking. It's like, you're yelling. This is my voice. This is my voice. Like my dog. I got Zeus is my dog. And my dog, for real, is an Anatolian Shepherd. Y'all look up Anatolian Shepherd. That's my dog, right? Swear to God, man. My dog has the loudest bark on the fucking planet. It's like reverberates. Like when he barks in the house, the shit like bounces off of windows and like hits you back in the head. It's crazy how loud this dog's bark is because he's supposed to be out like on 3 acres barking at people from, half a mile away or something. Man, Biggie says, I'm trying to sleep. You too loud. Stop yelling. Use your inside voice. I ain't got no inside voice, dog. Said they want you to talk like Mr. Rogers. Yeah, man, it ain't me. This is me. So yeah, that's a big ass dog. Yeah, he's a big old dog, man. And his voice is bananas. And he ain't gonna quiet down, dog. That's just how he's built. When he barks, it comes out like that, man. When I speak, it comes out like this. When I speak, it comes out like this. It ain't on purpose, homie. You say you can't expect soft barks. Oh my God, man. My dog is like, hoo-wee, man. My dog is something else, man. Let's check these likes. I know the likes are sorry. 428, man. Like I said, the likes are sorry, man. Adewale said he's a feminist. Adewale said he's a feminist, dog. Oh man, dog. Heck no, you can't get no soft barks off that dog, man. I'm 6'2" and 260 pounds, man. Okay, and it's not like it's at this point, it's a lot of it is legit. Some of about 235 of it is legit. E. Lewin Boxing, man. Much love in that super chat. Much love in that super chat, man. I said, what up, Fannon? How do I get in contact with you to get advice on growing my subscribers? Love your channel. My email address is where you email me. Email and we can go back and forth. The Patreon is where I want to drop the videos on it, though. But yeah, man, I can definitely. But on the Patreon, email me. I'll tell you. You tell me what your deal is. I'll see if I can help you. And if not, and if so, then we can work it, man. No, I did not see that. No, hey, PG said nothing is wrong with me. It was a joke. Did you not see the laughs? Dog, you know, emojis are dangerous things, dog. I've had people call me the worst shit in the world and put that same fucking emoji right there. Laughing out loud. Ha ha ha. You the stupidest motherfucker I've ever met in my life. Ha ha ha. Nigga, all I read was you didn't do a good job of joking, dog. If I didn't understand that you were joking with me, that's on you, not on me. Write your jokes in a way that people understand you playing. You know what I mean? You can't walk up to somebody, slap them in the face, and be like, I was just joking. What? Bow, man, you don't hit joking or not. You know. Fannon has a boycott. Khan got 7 million. Jupiter B in the building, man. Much love in that super chat, man. Jupiter B, Khan got 7 million, Bud 1.5. Their live gates not making up 5.5 million. Bud said Danny Swift Garcia wasn't worth more. What other offers Bud's send for anybody to duck? Yeah, pretty much. But I think that they're probably going to get the Kell Brook fight done. Oh, or let me rephrase that. I think that they'll get the Kell Brook done. I think that they can get the Kell Brook fight done. I absolutely do think that. This is so funny to me how I don't even understand how anybody can do this. I just don't understand. Said Fannon turned into Little John. Turned down for what? Turned down for what? Marvin Banks says, laugh my ass off. I can't do it. I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. Daniel Staley says, salute for now. Much love in that super chat, man. Thank you guys for holding down the chat, dog. I can't, man. I can't do it. I can't do it, man. All right, I'm gonna try it one more time. because you said you weren't joking. Okay. Now, I hope this means that we're like we're overcoming our problems and we are, mediating our differences. So since you said that you were joking and you did not intend to insult me, that I'll now try to give it a shot. This shit is depressing. I mean, like I'm getting sadder by the second. Just fucking talking like this. Like, no wonder motherfuckers is depressed. That shit will make you sad. Like I'm singing myself a lullaby or some shit. Dog, I don't even get that shit, dog. Y'all ain't got, hey, dog, for real, man. I don't know what's up with y'all, dog. Like y'all got some shit missing or something. Like, nigga, y'all missing a nut or something? Like, did some shit happen in your childhood, dog? Did some shit happen in your childhood that stunted your fucking puberty or something? Because I swear to God, man, I ain't been able to talk like that shit since I was like 11. Hell no. Marvin Mays, they want you to talk like a golf announcer. Hey, man, it's all good, man. No worry. Hey, thanks, man. ASMR said it's not for you. No. Now, you pay me enough, dog, like a female? Is AMSR for females? For females, I might be able to work it out, dog. But even then, there's going to be an overriding rumble to the situation, dog. Oh, hell yeah. He said, Fannon, that's toxic emasculinity. Okay. Oh, come on, man. See, that's why black dudes get shot, man. People see that's how the world is built unfair. It for real. It's built. They see that's discrimination, man. That I feel discriminated against, for real. I feel discriminated against for people that have volume in their voice. Because I do listen to people and I'm like, dude, how do you do that? Like, how do you like melanin must meet like it must, I don't get it, man. It's the black man voice too. Because you know how you can know a black man's voice on the phone? Like you can hear the difference. Somebody says stop yelling. What? Oh, somebody's gonna say something that's gonna definitely said I'm about to unsubscribe to you. You're too quiet. Yeah, that shit ain't no fun. That's why you niggas ain't got no subscribers. Because nobody want to hear that shit. No, don't nobody want to be talked to like that, man. Don't nobody want to be talked to dispassionately. What boxing fans wants to be talked to dispassionately? Like, no, man. No, that's not how it works, man. All right, man. Let's talk boxing, man. For the last section of the show. Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder, man. Now I'm going to do my announcers, man. Now I'm going to do my announcer's voice and let you really hear it. Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder, dude, has not been talking to the media, and the media thinks he is depressed. I've not done a video about it because I refuse to do any video with the name Tyson Fury in it. Like, Tyson Fury, I'm like, just realize Tyson Fury is not worth talking about. Did you hear? So Deontay Wilder, and this is why I want to tell you, I think I might do a video on this, but I did notice something. I want to share this observation with you on the channel. Hit the like if you're still in the joint, okay? I see some people walked out the building because somebody asked me to be quiet, and as soon as I started speaking quietly, 50 people left the fucking room, okay? So do not ever again ask me to talk like that on TV because I just did a test on YouTube, whatever this is. A whole bunch of people left, and they popped right back in when I stopped talking like that. But so I did notice something, man. Tyson Fury, nobody talks about Tyson Fury. Have you noticed that? Really and truly how nobody talks about Tyson Fury? It's like I did a Tyson Fury at once, and I was like, you know what I realized when I did it? Nobody watches Tyson Fury videos. I've been looking at like what's going on in the UK and like the things that are being talked about. Dude, there's no, like they have to manufacture things to talk about Tyson Fury. What now that Deontay Wilder's not talking? The reason why these cats are going so far is to try to taunt Deontay Wilder by acting as like he's depressed and stuff like that is because without Deontay Wilder, nobody cares about Tyson Fury. That's why they're saying that. Because nobody cares about Tyson Fury without Deontay Wilder. Underground Asylum said, salute, support you on all platforms, and I sent you an email. Respect the GOAT. That's what's up. Let me check it out. For sure. Thanks, man. Much love in that super chat. Gary Toussaint said, your voice is authoritative. Yeah, people don't like that, man. People have never liked that. Like I never liked how I speak. Like they've always taken it like that. But that's just me. That's my voice. That's who I really like. I'm not going to emasculate myself, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do that. You're not going to, I mean, it's like super fucking unfair, dog, for people to try to make you less masculine. When this is testosterone. That's what this is, okay? I'm 50 years old and still working, dog. Oh man, that was hilarious. Hilarious. Are you for real, Deontay? Who? Fury, the best heavyweight in 2 lifetimes? You guys still exist? You guys are still out there? You still live? You guys are still breathing? Dude, Tyson Fury fights in America, dummy. Didn't you hear him? Only in America. Dude, Tyson Fury fights in America, dummy. Didn't he give up his UK boxing license, dummy? Didn't he? Didn't he? He fights in the United States. His pay-per-views, if he had one, would be sold to people in the United States. He said he never wants to go back to the UK. So if nobody's talking about him where he says his home is, then nobody's talking about him. Dummy. And you know who he is. Because you say only in America, even in America, nobody knew Wilder before 2018. Funny how you can spell Deontay Wilder's name. Funny how you know this shit. You seem to have quite a you seem to have a wealth of information about somebody that nobody's ever heard of. And Tyson Fury is a cheater. Dummy. Skillless Cuz said Fannon, known as the Martha Stewart of boxing. No. Hell no. Hell no. Much love in that super chat, man. Hell no. Oh my God, man. I don't do the female thing. Leon DiCarlo, much love in that super chat, says showing some love for the Don, man. What's good, man? I appreciate you, man. Dude, you look from that picture, dude, you look just like one of my partners, man, a partner that I pledge with. You're a little younger than him, but, you know, but very similar to him. Every time I see you, man, I'm like, you really remind me of my friend. Yeah, they still believe that foolishness. They don't believe that foolishness. They just wanted to get heard. They probably just been blocked under something else. Exactly. You don't want to yell and go. Guys are so aggressive. Black men are so aggressive. It's like, it's just, you won't speak softly to me. You won't speak softly to me. Go, boss hog, go. Bingo. Yes. Bingo. I'm a noob. Old school noob. Nope. Yes, sir. Nope. Versatile TV One said the info Wilder says he has on Fury also had them dudes nervous. Man, I'm waiting for that to come. I'm thinking I'm about to do a video on that, though. I might do one today. No. 24 chat mentality can't spam the chat, dog, because he donated like half of the super chats today. Please, 24. I'm pretty sure 24/7 mentality is like 5 super chats today, so he can put as many messages as he wants in there, dude. Okay. 24/7 can let him roll. 24/7 played the price of admission, dog. You know, I appreciate the support 24/7. You want to say it, man. He's not doing it purposely. He's doubling his cool. Oh, okay, Jupiter B. Oh, okay, that's what's up. You know, I got to check. I appreciate you, Jupiter B. The most read commenter in all of Fannon International Boxing. Did Devin put up that 0.5 to Gary? I don't know. We'll hear. Devin Haney's going to say something back about it. Devin Haney and Bill Haney would I believe that they would do it. in a heartbeat. But I think that they got to fight. I know that they got to fight. In fact, not no, but yeah, 99.9% I know what's about to pop off. And that's because it's in the media. I'll say 95% that the Yuriorkis Gamboa fight popped off. But even after the Yuriorkis Gamboa fight, the Devin Haney fight, Gary Russell Jr. fight's a good fight for Devin Haney. Especially if nobody's going to fight him at 135, because he's legitimately ducked at 135. Terence Crawford is fake ducked up there at 147. Terence Crawford is fake ducked. At 135, Devin Haney is ducked for real. He's ducked for real. And that should be it. They should split the money even. 2-2. And if Devin gets 3 and Gary Russell Jr. gets 2, oh, that's a deal. That's a deal. That's a deal for Devin Haney. You know, if Gary Russell Jr. takes, it's like whatever you make. If I take 2, fake ducked, yeah, fake ducked. Terence Crawford claimed everybody was ducking him and then turned around and turned everybody down for fights when they said, okay, we'll fight you. Then he turned everybody down. That's a fake duck. They were like, oh, fake duck. You false ducking. You false flagging your ducks. False flagging your ducks. Remember Tim Bradley? Oh, everybody in the PBC is ducking Terence Crawford. They all scared of Terence Crawford. Fast forward. Fast forward 2020. Refused to fight with Sean Porter. Refused to fight with Keith Thurman. Refused to fight with Ray Robinson. Lowball Danny Garcia. Turned down a fight. Refused to fight with little itty bitty ass Gary Russell Jr. Because Gary Russell Jr. is from the PBC. And Tim Bradley and you guys were saying everybody in the PBC was ducking Terence Crawford. Well, Gary Russell said, I ain't ducking you. I'm not ducking you. Fight me. And he didn't want the fight. That's a fake duck. You talked all that shit about everybody on the block wanting to fight you. They all walked to the front of your house and said, hey, I'll fight you. Come on out. And say, hey, they knock on your door. Hey, everybody said, you wanted to fight me and I wanted to fight you. Nah, nigga, I got homework to do. Nah. Yeah, I'll whoop your ass, but a new version of but 2K came out today. Can't fight you because 2K came out today. Somebody else knock on the door. Hey, Bud, everybody said that you wanted to fight me. I want to fight you, Bud. You want to fight me, Bud? Nah, man, I can't do that, dog. Can't do that, dog. The Voice comes on tonight, dog. The Voice comes on tonight, dog. My cousin's performing on the Voice tonight. All kind of fucking excuses. Any kind of excuses. Not to come out and fight. That's why I say that's a fake duck. People were saying that he's ducking. He was getting ducked and he wasn't getting ducked. Even Errol Spence said he would fight him. Errol Spence never said he wouldn't fight him. He said he would fight him. I'll fight you. Absolutely. And then, unlike other people, he told him the truth. Some other people, unlike other people, he told the truth. The truth told the truth. And people didn't like the truth. The truth told the truth. Much love, man. Say, break that shit down, OG. I shall do right now. T-Rex the quote. Doug. Errol Spence told him the truth, and y'all don't like the truth. Like that old music, you don't like the truth. What he said was, dude, I'm going to beat this guy. I'm going to beat that guy. And then I'm going to beat the shit out of you. Okay? You want to fight me? Sure. I want to fight you too. I'm going to whoop his ass. Then I'm going to whoop his ass. And I'm going to whoop your ass. Then I'm going to whoop your ass. Now, we fast forward. What has he done? He whooped that guy's ass. He did what he said. That guy, he managed to corral Sean Porter and fight Sean Porter and beat Sean Porter. So he did what he said he was going to do. Didn't he? Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao was in the ring with him. Manny Pacquiao was right there to fight. Manny Pacquiao don't want to fight him. He can't make Manny Pacquiao fight him. He gets in a car accident. And he's still not taking a soft touch. Dude, Errol Spence Jr. will be fighting better competition coming off of a car wreck that could have killed him than Terence Crawford is gonna fight. completely healthy. Somebody tell me if that's a fact. Is that a fact? Y'all like facts. Is that a fact? Is that a fact? I think that's a fact. A fact. Danny Garcia is a harder fight than Kell Brook. And Errol Spence Jr. is taking that fight, coming off a car accident. But Bud Crawford can't fight Sean Porter because he got bigger things to do. Makes you look like bitch, man. That's just what it is. Any way you want to cut it, you look hoish. Because you said to Errol, your boy Bud said to Errol, and I'm not making this up. Bud said to Errol, don't fight me now, you not ready. Coming off that car accident, when I beat you, I don't want anybody to make any mistakes. I don't want anybody to, to think, that I beat you while you were hurt. So don't fight me, go fight somebody else. That's what Bud said. Errol is fighting Danny Garcia. Former 140-pound kingpin Danny Garcia. Former WBC 147-pound Danny Garcia, whose only losses are to Sean Porter and Keith Thurman in close fights. Very close, competitive fights. A guy that is a very dangerous fighter, one of the heaviest punchers in 147. Errol Spence Jr. said, I don't need no timeout. I'm fighting him. And he had a car. He has an excuse. He has an excuse. He has one. But Bud won't fight Sean Porter because he's got bigger things to do. And who's this bigger thing supposed to be? So far, as of this minute, it's Kell Brook. It's not time for me to fight you right now, Sean. Somebody, by the way, Errol already fought. Because I've got other things going on. How am I contradicting myself, Caleb Phillips? I'd be very interested to know. Oh, of course that's what he says. That's because let me see this. Of course what? Of course he said that because y'all say Benavidez was a mismatch and he not getting credit. You are, no, I'm not. Shut the fuck up. There ain't no contribution. There ain't no contributions there. Ain't no contradiction there. That's a fact. That's completely consistent. And let me go over it again so I make sure you understand how I'm not contradicting. There's no contradiction there. It's just facts. Fact. Sean Porter, Terence Crawford told Sean Porter that he couldn't fight him because he had other things to do. That is a fact. Errol Spence Jr. already fought Sean Porter. That's a fact. Terence Crawford told Errol Spence Jr. not to fight him. Not to fight him because he wasn't ready yet. Told him that. So that's him saying he doesn't want to fight Errol Spence Jr. because he thinks people will say that he's damaged goods. Errol Spence Jr. didn't matter. Errol Spence Jr. still fought a fighter that's on the same level as Terence Crawford and Danny Garcia. What I'm telling you is that Errol Spence Jr. didn't take the excuse. If he's not ready for Terence Crawford, he ain't ready for Danny Garcia. If he's not, let me repeat that. If he's not ready for Terence Crawford, he's not ready for Danny Garcia. Because Danny Garcia, if his health is not ready, if he's not healthy enough to fight, if his health would prevent him from fighting Terence Crawford, then his health should prevent him from fighting Danny Garcia because Danny Garcia can knock him out cold for sure. Well, not for sure, but Danny Garcia is every bit on the level of Terence Crawford as far as his accomplishments go. But he didn't take the excuse. What is Sean Porter's, what is Terence Crawford's excuse for not fighting Sean Porter? That he's going to fight Kell Brook? that he's going to fight up a washed up Kell Brook? Maybe. No, dude. Terence Crawford is being a prima donna, and Errol Spence Jr. is acting like nothing happened when he was in a car that flipped over 12 times, and everybody in boxing said he should take a year off. Errol Spence Jr. is showing heart. Terence Crawford is looking soft. Okay? He's looking soft. He's looking like he's not willing to take the risks that other people are taking. Unless you're telling me that you think Errol Spence Jr. fighting Danny Garcia coming off of a potentially fatal car accident is a risk. Isn't a risk. But you think Kell Brook is a risk? Bud's not willing to take risks. Errol Spence Jr. is taking risks. There's no contradiction there. There's just a lack of understanding on your part, most likely. Or the off chance that I didn't understand your text correctly. But if what you wrote is what you meant, if I read it correct, nah, Doug, there's nothing contradictory about that. You just don't like what it is. You just don't like what it is. You don't like what I'm saying. Because Errol Spence Jr. already beat Kell Brook. Already beat him. So while we're talking, let's also remember that we're asking Bud to fight Errol Spence's leftovers, and he won't do it. He wants to fight lesser competition than the people that Errol Spence already beat. And he had to choose between the two people that Errol Spence Jr. beat to fight. He chose the weaker option in Kell Brook. The one that got damaged. Not the one that came out looking like, well, what a close fight. No, the guy that got blown out. That's the guy Terence Crawford picks. The guy that got blown out. Come on, man. Don't pretend. That is not contradict. That's Bud looking crazy. That's Bud looking crazy. Much love to D-Style Boxing. That super chat, man. Subscribe to D-Style Boxing. For sure to subscribe to my man D-Style Boxing. D-Style. I keep saying D-Style. My accent comes out on that. Yeah, man. Kell Brook was damaged goods. Hey, man, whatever. He beat him. Really? Caleb Phillips. Let me make you look stupid real quick. Let me tell you something. Let me make you look stupid real quick. Who did Terence Crawford get his belt off of? Jeff Horn. Enough said. If you don't want to, if you're going to say some shit about that, Kell Brook, because I do believe you are one of the people that said that Jeff Horn was an acceptable fight for Terence Crawford. If Kell Brook is an acceptable, if Jeff Horn is an acceptable fight for Terence Crawford, Kell Brook isn't one for Errol Spence, especially when Errol had to go to the UK to fight, and Bud, because he was the favored, didn't have to go to Australia like Manny Pacquiao did. He got to fight in his own backyard. Did Terence Crawford travel to Australia to beat Jeff Horn in Queensland? No, he did not. No, he did not. Is anybody thinking that Jeff Horn is the same level of fighter or close to the same level of fighter that Kell Brook is? If you think that, please go start a channel talking about Quidditch, okay, and other imaginary sports invented in Harry Potter, okay? Get up out of here with all of that. The problem is that Bud looks bad and y'all can't get out of it, and y'all can't get people to shut up about it, okay? And the mainstream media can't help you because the mainstream media already buried Bud. So all the mainstream media can do is give some half-ass, some half-hearted, like, do you believe that people think he's ducking people? No. Yes, I do believe people thinking he's ducking people. What I can't believe is that you got Vasily Lomachenko over him pound for pound, and you think that Vasily Lomachenko is better than him. And what I can't believe is that you didn't give Bud Fighter of the Year in 2017 for becoming undisputed. That's what I can't believe, boxing media. Do you see how funny that is? I can't believe that they found a way not to give Bud Crawford the Fighter of the Year when he was the first guy in over a decade, to become undisputed in boxing. That had not been accomplished in over a decade, since Jermaine Taylor. He was the first person since Jermaine Taylor to do that. And they didn't give him Fighter of the Year and they gave it to Vasily Lomachenko because he fought one guy, Jason Sosa, in his weight class. That's what I find unbelievable about Bud, that he does not have Fighter of the Year that year. Somehow though, I'm crazy for thinking that Bud is not wanting to fight top competition when his competition has been Jose Benavidez, Amir Khan, Igor Kalvanakis, and what other bum is in there? Amir Khan, Jose Benavidez, Jeff Horn. You know the names. Because there's only really one guy who you would know if you didn't know who. Yeah, you get it. You get it. There ain't nothing else to go with it. Ain't nowhere else to go with it. But hit the like though, man, on the way out, man. Oh man, come on. We almost had 500 likes. I really wanted 500 likes. Hey man, my man D-Style Boxing. Hey, Caleb, much love in that super chat, man. It was good going back and forth with you. I appreciate you, man. I did like the banter. I appreciate you, man. Much love and support, man. I'm LDBC, but I take it like that because I'm not media. I'm in the LDBC. I'm not new media, but I appreciate you and thank you. But we get bucketed together, so it is what it is. Yes, sir. But look, man, I'm going to get up out of here. Much love to everybody in the chat, everybody in the super chat. It's been a great week. Make sure you guys come. We'll be back on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. He said, you matter. You made a great point. He should have got Fighter of the Year. Yeah, he should have got Fighter of the Year. He should have got Fighter of the Year. Bomac should have got Trainer of the Year in 2017. They deserved it. They deserved it. And the same people acting like they supporting them now were the people that screwed them. And now when we're asking something of them at 147, now somehow it's us making it up when they've been crapping on Bud for years. You know what I mean? But now, oh, no. We can't crap that much on Bud because he has to fight for top rank and our ratings are bad. That type shit. Anyway, with that, I'm out. Much love to everybody in the chat, man. Hey, thank you for being a good sport, Caleb Phillips, and everybody else that I joned on a good bit. Thank you guys for being good sports. Thank you to everybody. And with that, we out. Peace.